Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It's so good to be having this time with you. Um, this is the fourth in our series of Expanding Viewpoints, Heart Family Masters interviews. And I want to welcome you to our um, just heartfelt discussion. Just a little introduction about you. Reverend Glenn Jones is an ordained interfaith minister whose ministry's been done in the guise of, well, carpentry. We can see all your uh, workshop there, and being a caretaker. You've been a long time Heart Family member, and we appreciate that you're recording the Jeshua, the Personal Christ series as a series of audiobooks. And you have a wonderful, expressive voice and open heart. I know that you also enjoy poetry and you're a writer and enjoy music and art, and also appreciative of the fact that you've been on Oak Ridge University board. And you're also a powerful speaker at Unity and the Olympic Church in Port Angeles. So welcome, Glenn. Thank you for being with us. And I'd love to get to know you a little bit more, and for our Heart family to get to know you a little bit more. So tell us a little bit about your background and your spiritual journey up to this point, because we are always still a work in progress.
Oh yes, yes, we certainly are. What the where does one begin? Probably from the beginning. That's always a good place to start.
Very
So
good place to start.
I to me to see with the eyes of spirit, or the eyes of Christ, is to see the world through the eyes of a poet. That is to see the world through the eyes of love and appreciation, of the beauty that abounds. And being human, we all get caught up in the challenges and turmoil of life itself, which is one of the reasons, is the reason why I so appreciate Jeshua and the work that he's been doing from time immemorial, is to remind us that, hey, we're more than this body. You know, there's a grand love and life that is available to us, and we don't always remember, and we need the reminders, to me. And that's pretty much what Oak Ridge is about to me, is the reminder to be who we are. So I wrote this poem when I was 15, and I put it in a book that I eventually published in 2014. It was not a well edited, wasn't an edited book, but it happened. You know, it was wrought from the earth. But the poem is called "Standing Still."
Oh.
Ah, what a simple man am I, though my mind is 1,000 way signs, and my eyes see 10 times more. As images and impressions scatter like leaves in the autumn wind, rustling silent notes of solitude, barely rippling quiet pools of wonder and awe, as I feel time passing, while yet I stand so still. That was, I felt a little bit embarrassed when I wrote that, because I was only 15, and I thought, well, how can I call myself a man? I'm still a kid. But that's what came through. And it's been consistent through my whole life, really, is I'm a very simple person, very ordinary, and yet inwardly, my life is extraordinary. Outwardly, it's just I just do my work and try to keep, when I'm hammering, I try to keep my thumb out of the way. Doesn't always work. But what I realize, and what is reinforced by the Jesus' teachings and other masters, is that essentially what we are extraordinary beings of consciousness, of life and of light, and that our essence is beyond this world, and yet we get to play in this world. That's
Yeah.
the key word that we get to play in this world. And I, for one, have forgotten that many times. And I know we remember, forget, remember, forget. But that's pretty much what drew me to Oak Bridge, was the exquisite reminder that we exist within a field of adoration, which is God, which is you, which is me. We are that. Hello. What more? What more could be asked for? What more
I
could
like
be
that.
given?
I like that exquisite field of adoration. Beautiful, beautifully said.
Well, I'm attracted to spirit, however it's expressed. And we find that we are drawn more to some fields or some expressions more than others because they simply resonate with us. There are many masters, of course. There's even a book entitled that, Many Lives, Many Masters, Many Lives, I think is the title of the book. And I found that to be true. And that as we reconstitute our consciousness, as we remember who and what we are, synchronicities and reminders of this, the delight in which we exist, occur more frequently. Synchronicities should be a normal part of everyday life. I say should be. I don't mean that in terms of, well, it should be that way or something's wrong. No, it's just like if when we live as who and what we are, naturally it follows that we're going to run into the people, places, and things that validate the joy that lies within. That's the synchronicities I'm talking about. So I think if I was going to explain how I got here, I couldn't. Things just happened, right? And here I
In the
am.
flow. You were in the
Yes,
flow.
in the flow. But it's not like I could consciously make this stuff up. It's just happening around me, and I deal with life as it arises. So years ago, I was introduced to The Way of Mastery by a singer-songwriter named Kalyani.
Yeah.
She was a guest artist at the church I went to. It was a New Thought church in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I was so struck. Every time I opened that book, I could feel the presence, the Christ presence. This was so profound to me. It was like someone was there each time. And then it took me over 3 years to read that book. And when I finished, I thought, I have to do something with this. I simply have to. So I went to the Shanti Cristo headquarters, the publishers of that book in Sacramento, and started taking classes there to see how they did what they did with what they had. And I thought, oh, okay, this is doable. So I started facilitated a book study where we gathered at a friend's house who was a hostess, because she had room in the house, and there were typically between average of a dozen people there, as many as 20, sometimes as few as 8, but it lasted for 18 months, which I understand. So we went through the entire book in 18 months, which according to Shanti Cristo, that's kind of a record. That was quick. And they told me there that right now Jeshua is speaking through over 2,000 people around the world, and nobody really knows. There's probably more than that, but nobody knows who they all are. But they said, we found out about one who lives in Squim, Washington. I thought, nobody knows where Squim is. I mean, I did, because I have a friend that lives near, but I thought nobody knows where Squim is. And here's this woman that's channeling Jeshua. So I thought, I have to see this for myself. So I came up and I attended an advance. And I thought, this is the real deal. And it wasn't beyond what the average person could sit there and relate. It wasn't some weird thing. It was weird in the sense, in the Celtic sense. In the Celtic language, the weirding way is the way of being. To be weird is to be. And I thought, okay. So in that sense, the people that were present, the people that are drawn to this teaching, tend to be conscious, loving, caring people, and want to keep the ball going, the family alive. So when I came up and experienced this, I didn't know at that time I was going to move up here to the area, but that's how it unfolded. So way back. So the things that I'm reading, I've in Jeshua the Personal Christ, and the things that I've heard Judy or Jeshua channeling through Judy, the things that are said, I thought, I've had those thoughts, and now I'm seeing it live in person reflected back to me. And I thought, well, there's a validation of the oneness, the flow that we all are some part of. So the things that what other people think and say and do and be, we're not alone in that. There's a vast tapestry that's being woven that's beyond human comprehension, but it is knowable. It is knowable. We can't exactly explain it, but what came to me when I was years ago, I was walking through a grove of old growth redwood trees, and I realized that this is God speaking through these trees. And what he came out of that was a poem which kind of sums up what this is all about for me. It's called Awake Again. Awake again upon this earth, awake and thrill to recognition. Look, the lover's lamp in the window shines as the light within. The ocean is a pool of tears. Come, let us swim as we, one by one, side by side, dive into the phenomenal world and embrace the colorful cacophony. Woven in subtle bonded unity, this invisible fabric that knows itself as light pours forth in unstoppable expression. Its leading hymn vulnerable to its own fire, consumed by the inextinguishable flame of its own being, becomes as smoke rising, as incense offering, its endless essence immutable, while infinite forms, ever emerging in dynamic silence and symphonic stillness, call out, awake again upon this earth. Its rivers are tears of joy.
Wow.
So from Jeshua the Personal Christ, Volume 1, he says, you are coming unto such a place of realization that the joy within you will be full and overflowing. It has said that this is a new age, and yet I say unto you, it is the age of remembrance of what has always been. It is the age of light. You are coming unto a realization of the light that cannot be contained within the cells of the body and must be shared. The energy that you are must be shared in a grand freedom of expression, because you will not be able to contain it. So that's why I'm here.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Amen and hallelujah. That's exactly it. This was enthusiasm and his love and the way that he projects our essence and joy, just really has drawn me into this wonderful vortex of joy over the years. And I remember you coming to that first advance here that I saw you at, and how much joy you seem to have with us. So thank you for being part of our heart family, because that joy and that message of his love and our oneness does need to be shared.
There's no other way. That's the nature of what I call God. I don't have, I didn't grow up, I don't have a religion. I was ordained as an interfaith minister, because how can you pick? It's all God. And I have met enlightened people. I mean, you could see it in their eyes when someone is full, self-realized, self-actualized, enlightened, whatever you want to call it. You can see it in their eyes. And I've met people from many different religions that you could see were clearly knew who they were and know what they were and where they were. And they were modeling the Christ presence, but they called it something else to them. So that's why I was drawn to interfaith. And I feel like, Jesus is, he's everyone's master. He's everyone's teacher. If you so wish, he's truly, I would say, interfaith, all faith, and yet not everyone resonates to the language that he uses. But there is someone that does express in a way that is resonant to other people. So God's got us covered. I mean, everywhere, in all the different languages and expressions, it's one thing. So that's kind of where it's at for me.
Exactly, it's the oneness, and no matter what the culture or what the context is, or let me switch it over here. We can talk. Yeah, it's still the oneness, and from day one, he has always told us there is no separation.
Right.
There is no separation, and however we try it. And the other thing that he said even deeper is, your life is my life, and my life is your life. And that's another whole, for me at least, another whole level and dimension of how close we are in this oneness. That the separation is just a dream, a journey that we wanted to take, an adventure.
Yes. Yeah.
And so we may look like rather ordinary people. And he said sometimes masters come disguised, so you don't know that they're masters, except in their eyes, like you said.
Yes, although we are all masters. It truly takes a master to express in this world as an ordinary person. I mean, that takes divine power just to exist and to do this thing. And that's what I like to remind people of their own mastery, their own worth, despite any appearances to the contrary. Because the world is all about appearances. It's all about appearances. But that's not reality. Appearances are not necessarily, well, they're not capital R reality. I think appearances are as real as they're supposed to be, because that's what we've set up. And we want consistency. I mean, if nothing else. And so our reality is true to our divine nature. Our small r reality is true to our divine nature, and yet it is only a small aspect of it. And those are the reminders that Jeshua and that we give each other, and that Jeshua is the great spokesperson for, among others. I mean, the masters, the true the true the clear ones, let's say, like Jesus or and many others, they don't argue and they don't compete. It's just one message, and the message is magnificence, if you would have it. And if you want to dwell in sorrow and all that, that's God too. Like, oh my God, we know all these things.
Yes, he has often told us that it's our choice to play in different sandboxes, and some of those sandboxes may be all scattered and all messy and look like they're not part of the divine plan, but they are, because they, as he tells us, the divine weaver takes everything, all of our experiences, and weaves them into a beautiful tapestry. So, like, you can't go wrong.
Oh, I love that. The idea or the vision of the grand weaver of this tapestry, because truly it's the weaving is incredible. The weaving is it, when you look at it, the back of a tapestry, all you see is the yarn pulled out, and it doesn't really look, it doesn't look good. But you turn it around and see the face that was intended to be seen, and it's it's totally transformed. You see the beauty, the synchronicity, the flow of everything. And how can that be from generations past into the present? This weaving is exquisite. But if we don't stop to appreciate it, if we need to look up and see the sky and the birds and we need to see around us and get out in it. Dive into the phenomenal world and embrace the colorful cacophony. I mean, and we do it together. We do it together.
Yes, we get to see the other parts of God within each other and
Yeah.
play together.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, just the miracle of the two of us meeting and being able to connect from the different worlds that we've come from, and the times and the places. What a miracle, meeting each single person and knowing that we have a divine appointment to meet.
Yeah, and that there's no coincidence.
No, and we're here to love each other and to spread our love and multiply it. So it's such a miraculous journey that we're on. And I am so very grateful to be part of it and to have you be part of it too, in my life and in the life of everyone that we touch. I think that's something from my background, which my parents, obviously, they scripted their scripts to be what they were and what they experienced as victims of World War II. But, they also had this great optimism that things could be better, and that God was guiding the way. And that just was such a wonderful gift to me, first of life, to be able to be here and to enjoy this miraculous cacophony, as you say.
I love irony, it's exquisite. Even the cacophony is exquisite if you can stop and appreciate it, in contrast to the divine perfection. And sometimes walking through the forest, you'll see trees falling down and it looks like a mess. But when you really look at it deeply, you see as the trees return to the soil and provide food for the new trees coming up, and all the different forms of life that are taking place that form this one beautiful thing that we call a forest. That you see the perfection in all of it. And that's what I try to train myself to do, to remind myself to do, is to look for the perception, to be actively engaged in life, to actively look for the divine, the perfection. And sometimes it takes years for things to come clear. And other times it comes just upon the observation.
Well, I really appreciate what you said about having the experience of hearing Jeshua through Reverend Judith Coates, and how it was a resonance within you, a remembrance of what you have thought before, what you have felt before. And yeah, talk about that a little bit more, how that feeling and that perception brought you to where you are today in your life.
Well, when I was young, I started having mystical experiences, but I didn't know that that's what they were. I thought everybody had them, you know. Uh, as a child walking through in nature, just immersed in the beauty and the perfection of it all. It was like heaven on earth, and I couldn't understand how the grown-ups could just sit there. Now I can understand that, but you know, over time as a teenager, I was fortunate enough to get some of the best music, I think, ever. The lyrics, some of the lyrics that I grew up with as a teenager in the musicians had a deep, deep, deep meaning that spoke directly to the heart, whether it was Donovan or the Beatles or the Moody Blues or, you know, Joan Baez, you know, all these different, we have so many musicians that uh, were could express through the heart these deep messages. And in those days, I used to, you know, I buy a new record and I would just sit and listen to it over and over and over again and just dive into the music and the message. But it didn't seem to jive with the rest of the world. The rest of the world was very uncomfortable and mean and, you know, cruel and limiting. And, you know, so there was, I, when I would have an insight or what I call a mystical experience of oneness with all that is, it wasn't in the context of any religion. And it wasn't in a context that I didn't know anyone that I could discuss it with. And they would go, oh, yeah, 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 we know about that. I mean, it turns out that all along there were people that knew exactly what I was experiencing and had words for it and have process for it and have ways to expand upon it and cultivate it. But I didn't know any of that. It was, I felt very much alone and you know, maybe alone in a church with God sometimes, but I didn't have a means of expression, and I didn't have a means by which I could validate my own unity with spirit and with people. And so, you know, there arose within me, I struggled with deep, deep depression for many, many years. And of course, I tried to fix myself. I tried to self-medicate, and you know, that doesn't really do it for you. But it did get me in touch with some people that were trying to heal from their own self-medicating, and I learned about community. Um, I learned that people care and that they were there to join with, and we could help each other get past some of these difficulties. And then when it really popped for me was when I joined a New Thought church and started studying. It was Religious Science International that was f- found or based upon the teachings of Ernest Holmes. And as I studied the people that he studied, that's where the connection came for me. And then I found out that, wow, people have this. I felt like a kid in a candy store. This deep wisdom goes way back, way back, and he didn't limit it to any one thing. Although Jesus was the main draw for Ernest Holmes. His main support was Jesus. But a lot of times in the churches, they skipped that part and they would just go to the metaphysical ideas and all that, which is good. But in the back of my mind, tap, 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 tap on the shoulder, Jeshua has been calling me, hey, remember why you came? Remember why you decided to incarnate? And I'm going, no, well, okay. I had forgotten. But the message that I got from Jeshua and from all of the teachings that I've experienced in New Thought or other religions or metaphysical expressions, the bottom line is I am here to anchor heaven on earth. Well, how do you do that? Go within. And someone tried to teach me how to go within once, but I couldn't seem to quite get it. Yep. But yes, it's the simplicity of going within and being willing to be vulnerable, to be willing to be thought of as a fool, and to go, okay, maybe I'm a fool, but I'm God's fool. And so it's between me and spirit. I look up, but that's an old expression. God, of course, is within. It's who and what we are. And we could still go, thank you, God, like this, because that's part of our culture. It's part of our heritage. So that's what got me here.
Beautiful, beautiful. And you're so right. Everywhere, because we are swimming in God's love.
Yes.
If we weren't, we wouldn't be.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Proof in the pudding.
just the proof of us being here is God's love in the field. And now the quantum field idea is coming up where we're realizing that everything springs from the energy of love.
Yes. And as we go along, the comprehension of love expands and deepens. And that's something that will never stop. I realize now there's not going to be an end to it. There'll be an end to this incarnation, but there won't be an end to us and the love the field of love in which we exist. And
that's right.
The leading, so we are the leading edge. Each one of us are the leading edge of that love. That has never been, God has never been where the point of your consciousness is now and will be, it will continue to be. So it's like we get to do, God experiences itself through us as us.
Yes.
What? Oh boy.
How much bigger can you be?
Yeah.
And that's what I appreciate about you, because you really embody that concept, and you're able to tell people about it, especially when you're talking at Unity Church, or I've observed with you with conversations with other people. And that's why we call this series Expanding Viewpoints, because we're always expanding. There is no limitation. There is
love it.
edge to the universe. It just expands.
Yes.
And once we get that, then we don't have to be so worried and try to be in control of whatever it is we think we should look like or what things should be like, because God's got bigger plans.
Yes, she does.
Yes, she does.
It also it seems to me. I mean, I don't know anyone that doesn't experience doubt and confusion occasionally, but that's where we're so blessed to have something and someone's to fall back to remind us of that we are surrounded by love, and that we are cared about, and that our prayers are being answered.
Yes,
So this is Oak Bridge is a part of that grand weaving, for which I am eternally grateful. And we'll talk about that in a couple more centuries as we look back and go, yeah, wasn't that the thing, you know? I mean, who knows what planet we'll be on, but it'll be the same form of oneness in new clothing.
exactly. We'll just get to experience ourselves in another sandbox.
You know, I have to. That's one of the things that really struck me when I heard about that. When I was very little, my father made me a sandbox, um, and built the wooden frame, and then he had the sand delivered to the front yard, and then he wheelbarrowed one wheelbarrow at a time the sand back and dumped it in, and then I would get a ride in the wheelbarrow to back to the sandbox each time. And then I spent hours and hours. I'd go out there early in the morning and make little cities and houses with streets, and I'd get little plants and put them in as if they were trees along the street. And then in my mind, I didn't realize that what I was doing was something extraordinary. I thought all kids do this. We just have to remember to do it as adults. But I could make myself tiny and walk down that street and look in the windows of these little sand houses that I made and look up at the trees. And for me, it was totally real. And then when I grew up, I looked around and went, oh my God, this is what I've done. I've
Yes,
we have
you
these
created it.
houses and these trees. Look, I mean, that's how creative we are. We've made this whole planet.
Yes, yes.
Our sandbox.
From the sandbox, yes, and that was your first experience of it on this planet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Who knew I was like setting myself up for this whole incarnation? Like, yeah, listen, kid, just get out there. A little bit of water in the sand made it mold better, you know,
Yeah,
and it
yeah,
would
but
hold the
we
windows when you poked your finger into that clump of sand. So that's what I've learned about. You know, I got a job as a carpenter because I wanted to learn how to build my own house. And also I thought, well, even though I wasn't religious, I wasn't into this stuff at all, somewhere in the back of my mind, I thought Jesus was a carpenter, or at least he knew about it. And I thought, when I got my first hammer, I carved a cross in the handle. But,
mm,
you know, folks, I wasn't a Christian. I wasn't a religious person. We had some of that in the family, but I wasn't into it. It didn't make sense to me. And yet there was something deep inside that was pulling on me. And
right,
it's still there. I still keep a cross in my hammer, not not in the sense, it's just a reminder of the oneness and of
exactly.
the sensuality of holding this wooden hammer in your hand. And what does that mean?
Well, the cross is the bringing together of heaven and earth,
Right here, yes. Yeah, it's the intersection of heaven and earth right here, right now. Yes.
and it
But
was
then
an ancient symbol long before Christians used it. So
yes.
it's a
And
reminder of us for us, a stop, like a stop sign, but a reminder of who and what we are.
yes. Ancient. And in the Southwest, they had the cross, but there was a circle around it, and it wasn't
Yeah, the
complete
spiral,
without the circle in the
right?
ancient days, um, of which
And
we've
the spiral, yes, which is the evolution of our journeys as Christed beings to remember. And each cycle takes us in a slightly different version of that reality that we create. But yeah, so much to explore, and so blessed to be doing this together. And so you will be doing the diving deeper with us this Saturday and speaking about the oneness, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Often Jesus said, I and my Father are one. And that was the context at the time. And then eventually we came to realize that, I and the Mother are one. I and all that is are one. God is man, God is woman, God is neither, God is both. I mean, it's all that. And but the oneness, when he was bringing us back to that, hey, we're in this together. We're all in this together. And we could imagine what the world would be like if we all thought that way. What a
Yes.
difference a thought makes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I wanted to talk about, and also, like all humans, we're not in that. I'm not in that space of consciousness all the time. That realization ebbs and flows. And we have been assured, Jeshua's assured us that there'll come a time when it won't ebb. It'll just flow. And so, but let's have some faith in that. Have faith in that, in those words, and in that inner potential, and but not discard or discount the times when we don't feel like we're all in the flow, because we're going through that, and we can't put it in the denial page like, oh, that's not happening, it's not me, this is not now. It's okay to say ouch when it hurts, because we go through that. And at the same time, it's good to remember that this too shall pass.
Exactly. It's all part of the experience. Part of the being in the leading edge.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sometimes you look back and somebody asks you, well, how was that working for you? And you get an opportunity to change your mind. Change your
Mm-hmm.
mind, change your life, change your idea, change your, who knew how powerful ideas were? I mean, I certainly wasn't taught that growing up.
Neither was I. But what a gift we've been given to have that consciousness now. So very much appreciated. Well, I certainly appreciate your time and your sharing with me and with everyone who will benefit by watching this. So thank you so very much, Glenn, and look forward to having more time with you and diving deeper. And if you ever want to teach a class on any part of what you have learned, Oak Ridge is here to be the conduit for all of this sacred information to be put out into the world, and to reach out to other people and help them if they want so desire. Because after all, Joshua said, we're all going to be coming back into oneness and the realization of oneness. We just do it at our own different pace, and that's okay.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you, Eva. It's wonderful to spend this time together. And to everyone that happens to watch this little video, blessings to you.
Well, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, and we will be in touch soon.
Good.